Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you guys can see my screen and hear me well. Can someone
Yes,
confirm?
good afternoon. Good afternoon, Sir.
Yes, yes.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
great.
yes.
While others are joining, I see Murtaza has already joined. So we can quickly, and I'm logged into your subscription. So we can start the discussion here, right? And as people join, we'll go and check their work. Uh, Sounds good to you, Murtaza? Are you available?
Yeah, sure. Yep.
Okay. Okay. So the guys' homework which I gave, or I mean, let's not treat it as homework. It sounds very childish and school जैसा sound करता है, or whatever the practice which we had. I'll just copy and paste that here first, so at least you'll have. And guys, when you are giving me sending it that please check this machine, very base specific. What do you want me to check, right? Checking the machine, it's very vast statement. So base specific, unless it is related to the task which I have given, you don't have to repeat it, obviously. If it is against this task, it's fine. I understand. I know what to check. But if you have done something, okay, you have read an article somewhere, you watched a YouTube video somewhere, and you're trying something new, you deployed a resource, and then you want me to check. So please be specific about it. That could you please check this part of the machine or that part of the machine or storage or any resources for that matter, right? Just giving a statement, check this machine will not help. It won't help me, it won't help you. Yes, as far as it is against the task which I have assigned, I know what to check. So let's quickly start with this. The task which I had given for practice was create a VM in your own resource group. Obviously, most of you do not have access on others resource group, so there was no chance to do this thing wrong or incorrect. You have access only in your resource group, so you'll create it. It should be Windows version. All of you have got it correctly. All of you, almost all of you have got it correctly. Okay. uh ID and password, sorry, who's that? It's like, no, I don't require ID and password, guys. I was coming to that. Okay. Size, most of you have got size correct, so no issues with that. Inbound ports, most of you have got it correctly. Few of you could not, I guess they missed it, did not understand, not sure. Operating system disk, most of you guys got it correct. Type should be standard. uh And OS disk size, I have specifically mentioned 300 plus GB. Most of you guys did not work well here, so I'll show it to you once. Data disk, I want two disk, one of 150 GB, second is 200 GB. I did not mention any disk type here. It could be standard HDD, premium SSD. I left, I just left it up to you guys. So no errors here also. Enable shutdown, many of you face that error. We'll see that today. And even if you face it, guys, it's okay, relax. Our job here was not to troubleshoot that issue. My intention was here to show you that there is an option, that there is such option called auto shutdown. If an so in an interview, if someone is asking you that, okay, I want to create a machine, but my job is only 9 to 5, and I want to that machine to shut down at 5 p.m., how would you do that? So you should know that there is an option called auto shutdown. No one is telling you to do that and implement it for them in the interview. Okay? In this week, we had 3 interviews from my class, old students from my batch, and one from this batch also. And you won't believe, guys, the questions were asked in those interviews were all here from this particular file. I'm not saying the interviewer used this file, but all of them were here. One of the questions was that I have a virtual machine and I do not have user ID and password, and I want to run a PowerShell script. So I already showed it to you guys, where can you do that, from where can you run a command, from where can you reset the password, right? So all of the questions are coming from this. So if you practice this, you will be able to clear the interview. And one of them was able to clear it. It is not confirmed yet, so I'm not sharing the details. Once we have the offer letter or something, then we can share the details with you. Okay, so let's start checking the task which we assigned. So this was the task. First I'll check Murtaza's. And that's okay, guys. To check this one, I did not require your user ID and password. If needed, I would have told you guys. One more thing, guys, I have seen this, or I've experienced that many people called me or texted me, or people who are practicing offline, they messed up with their password and they had to do the rework. Hence, I have been requesting all of you to select your one password and one username and stick to that. This is not the place to practice. अलग अलग username रख के क्या practice कर रहे हो आप? कुछ भी आप उसमें learn नहीं कर रहे हो. In fact, you're wasting your time. A person who was practicing with me, he created two machines for some practice, but later on he got messed up with the username and password, and then he had to do the practical again. So it's better you stick to one username and password. There's no learning in keeping different user ID and password. This is what I follow. It's up to you, whatever you want to do it. Okay, maybe our batch started in January, so ignore the spelling mistake if there is any. This is what you can follow. This is just a suggestion. Okay, tap out user January 2023 password throughout it. So whenever I have to log into your machine, I won't have to ask you. You have to log into multiple machines. In upcoming practicals, you'll have multiple machines, 3, 4, 5. And in those machines, if you keep on doing this, यार पहले वाले का पासवर्ड भूल गया, तीसरे वाले का भूल गया, फिर से मशीन बनाओ, तो more than focusing on that practical, your time will end up doing these tasks. So stick to one user ID and password. Again, this is a suggestion. If you think you're good at remembering things, it's fine. But this is what I experience. So make sure that you select your own user ID and own password, and throughout machines, all of them keep you same user ID and password. You can go ahead with this one also. That is also fine. Okay, so let's check this one, Murtaza's machine. One more thing, guys. I have experienced or I have observed. One person raised it to me that I am unable to when I'm creating a machine. I guess it was Nitesh. Has Nitesh joined today? Yeah, Nitesh is there. So when he was creating a machine, he was not getting a public IP. Because he was not getting public IP, he was not able to RDP to machine. What was the issue? The issue was other people in his group, they created machines. So with machine, what all resources come together? A VNet gets created, a machine gets created, an NSG gets created, a network interface gets created, operating disk gets created. If you create two different this those are different, otherwise these resources by default these will come, and one of them is public IP. Okay, and public IP is always limited, be it a paid subscription or a free subscription. You will always have a limitation on public IP. So what happened there, people were creating machine, they were turning it off, and they were just deleting the virtual machine. That's all. They would come here, they would delete, and this will get deleted. Now I don't want to do it now, I want to check this machine first. So it would get deleted. But what is happening? You're deleting the virtual machine. But what about the public IP? It is lying in your resource group. So I went to that subscription and then I checked how many public IPs are there already. So I saw a huge list, and look at this one also. I'm not sure if all of these machines are still there. I see Faisal's resource group has 3 public IP. I hope he has 3 VMs also. Okay, let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 public IP. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, 3 extra public IPs are lying. Now, if someone tries to create a machine, that person is not going to get a public IP. That is the reason I have always asked you to go to your resource group, select all resources, and then click on delete. Click this one, click yes. Then all resources will be deleted, and then you will be able to practice. With this practice, if you're deleting only virtual machine, you're keeping other resources. This is not at all a good practice. In this one, fine, you have 15,000 rupees free, but in your environment, you're billing to your company. Just imagine every engineer keeping 2-3 public IPs. Similarly, 10 engineers are doing 30 public IPs. I mean, the reason for what you came to cloud to save money, because of you, company is losing money, and then you're losing your job for sure. So make sure, guys, do not be in a hurry. I observe that the requests are not being read properly. Technical error, I can understand, I'll fix it. If you're not reading it properly, that is your error, guys. Make sure you read. In an IT field, be it anything, development, system admin, implementation, architecture, anything, read it. One error you guys raised with me, that was on the login page. That wasn't even an error. What was that? I'll show it to you. When I log into some other portal, it will appear and I'll show it to you. First, let's go ahead and check that. This one. So Murtaza will open your machine. This was the request where I wanted a machine in your own resource group. So Murtaza created machine in his own resource group. This is correct. Windows version, it was a window, it is a Windows version. That is fine. Okay. Then I asked about the size. Size sometimes happen if most people are using the size, then it is not available. Hence, I given the option that if it is not available, then select any close by size. So looking at the size, it is correct. Okay, size is correct. Next one was inbound port should be 80, 22, and 3389. I did not want 443. What is the use of those port? Why do we use it? When do we not use it? That will come later when we learn networking part. So don't worry. But in this request, if you see HTTP is there. Yeah, that's good. This is also done correctly. So this is done. Operating system hard disk, I wanted standard hard disk and I wanted 300 plus GB. It could be anything, 500 or be it anything. Okay, so I'll go to disk size. This was not correct, Murtaza. If you want, you can click here, go to logs and check. Earlier when your machine was created, when you asked me to check, this one was for 27 GB. So this was amended
So
later.
regarding this, like I realized where my mistake happened.
Right.
Like the first disk which I had created was the standard hard disk, but the snapshot of it was created as a premium one. So when I swapped it, it changed to the premium.
No, snapshot was in another article. Again, guys, read it very carefully. This one, snapshot, that was an optional. I asked only people who are comfortable do it. Otherwise, when I will cover the topic, we'll do that. Where do you see snapshot in this task? Hence I specifically asked you, are we talking about this task? Where do you see a snapshot request in this one? This is the
Yeah,
task.
so I actually confused the other
Yes.
task when the
Okay,
PDF
right.
was
Got it. I
sent. I
got it.
thought that was the second part.
Right. No, that is a different task altogether. Okay, the another request here was I wanted some disk here, data disk in this machine, 2 data disks. So if I go to this machine and click on disk, I guess I do not have data disk, right? So what I wanted here, 300 GB plus C drive, the OS disk, and 2 disk, one with 150 GB, second with 200 GB. Rest everything is good. As far as your understanding is clear,
So
yeah,
just my confusion, I remember uh, precisely that I created those disks, the hardware, the data disks. Is it possible due to I swapped the OS, the disks also went?
no, that's not possible. Yeah, specifically
Because
when you
I
talk about the
precisely
swipe disk,
remember creating them.
you can check in logs. That's fine. You can go here and check in logs who deleted them, what happened with them. It happens. We think we created sometimes. I have seen people creating on validation and later on they forgot to click on create. It happens. If you want more details, you can go to logs and you can check. But that's fine. As far your understanding is clear, that is fine. Okay, but still if
Okay.
you want, you can go ahead here and you can check. And if not, I can start deleting it.
Yes, yes, it's okay. You can delete it because I recognized where I kind of
Okay,
had the
so
problem.
I'm deleting this. Okay, guys, I'm
Yeah.
telling you very clearly, please make sure that you come here and delete everything. Otherwise, this is happening that you're deleting only virtual machine and you are keeping your public IP there. It is chargeable. You're keeping your hard disk there. That is chargeable. Okay, so do not do that. Okay, next one is since I'm going by the subscription, guys. Okay, because I won't have to log in frequently then. Do we have Faisal? Faisal, have you joined?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll check now. Okay, Satar bhai machine. Satar bhai, I've checked your machine and given you the feedback, right? Already. I hope you got it. I think Satar has not joined, so I have checked his
No,
machine.
I'm here,
Okay,
Sohail bhai.
so you got your
I have
feedback,
checked
right?
it. Yes, I got the feedback.
So I can delete it.
Yes, you can delete
Okay,
it.
rest everything was good. Yes, guys, about this one, I was reading that there is some glitch at this auto shutdown, but that's fine. You don't have to troubleshoot. You don't have to worry about that, about the auto shutdown thing. The only thing there what we have to learn is there is a feature called auto shutdown. If an interviewer is asking you that I want you to create a machine for me, but I work only from 9 to 5, but being in cloud I will be unnecessarily charged. So do you have some solution? That's where you can say that there is an auto shutdown feature. That's all. About the troubleshooting on that, we can work if we get time in today's session. We'll look at that. uh, Ishaq bhai, I am not sure the machine which you have created. Do you want me to check against this task or you just wanted me to check that machine generically?
Just check one. That's all.
Yeah, I checked that.
So
Then it's fine. It's fine. If it was
okay.
against this task, that wasn't a correct one because it didn't have disk. I mean, already replied on the WhatsApp. Other than that, if it is just a normal machine you're talking about, so it's fine.
Okay.
So I'll delete your machine also. Unless you're practicing on that, I can leave it. So we deleted
No, you can
Murtaza's,
delete.
Sattar his machines we deleted. Isaac his machine will delete now. Here also, Isaac, if you see, you have one machine, right? Only one virtual machine,
Yeah.
one public IP,
Yeah. Yes.
another public IP, another machine, another public. Okay, two machines you have.
Yeah, I created two machines.
Okay.
So
Then it's good.
where it was wrong, Sohail bhai?
No, it wasn't
Adding
wrong.
disk.
If it is yes related to this task, then it is not correct. A few tasks were pending there. This machine you're referring to, right?
Yeah.
Let me see. I quickly had a glance at that. I'll check again. Size is correct. Fine. Disk size, I asked for 500 GB. It is 127 GB. This is not correct. Auto shutdown, I'm not going there because most of you are facing some problem, and that's okay. Whatever we had to learn from auto shutdown, we have already done that. And let me quickly check networking side. HTTP, SSH, RDP. This is also correct. It's only the operating disk size. That's where you missed on. Rest everything is fine.
Okay.
And guys, do not delete your own resource group. Okay, you have access to delete your resource group, but you don't have access to create one. So don't delete your resource group. Last machine we have Faisal's base machine. We'll check that. Okay, I see one machine here. One public IP, two public IP, three public IP. See, this should not happen, guys. That is the reason I ask you to come here and delete everything, right? Otherwise, you're wasting on public IPs, and the next person will not be able to create any resource. If there is a limitation, and it is not because this is your free account. Even if you go for paid account or anything, you will always work under limitation. No one can give you a free hand कि ठीक है unlimited utilize कर लो. Then where is the saving? If that is happening, there is no saving. So size is correct for this machine. When it comes to networking, and this is the reason, guys, I did not need your user ID and password, hence I did not ask. RDP, HTTP, HTTPS is not there, SSH. So this is correct because I specifically asked HTTPS to be removed. This is correct. When it comes to disk, it should be 300 plus GB. I asked you to keep it 300 plus, and I asked not to create a premium. In fact, I said I want standard disk. That's all I asked. Standard HDD. The pricing difference between SSD, premium SSD, and standard HDD, it's a lot. A lot. It's not a few pennies. It is a lot. Indian rupees, if I talk about, if I'm paying 5,000 for disk, I would be paying 12,000 for disk. So if a client is requesting this, and if you give him this is not at all helping. If client has specifically asked for 300 GB, you give him 127 GB, application will crash plus billing will be extra. So this is not correct. Plus I wanted two data disk, one with 150 GB.
Sorry to interrupt you. Okay. Actually, at the time of build, I tried to give the OS disk size, whatever you mentioned here, 300 plus GB. Na? So I tried to give, but by default, it is taking that only. There is no option to edit the OS disk.
Exactly, and we saw in practical, how do you edit a disk? That was the practical. How do you edit a disk? You will not get everything at the time of creating. So that was the task that you go ahead and you stop the machine, and then you increase the disk, and then you turn on the machine. That was the task.
Okay.
That is not an error. That
Actually,
is the feature.
Okay. Got
Okay. So rest everything is correct, Faisal. I'll delete all the machine, all the resources from here.
Okay.
But make sure, guys, you read request very carefully.
Okay.
Okay, we'll go to the next subscription. Nelson's Ajay has created. We'll not do this, otherwise our session will go into this. Ajay, I'll check your machine later. And guys, we have a week. Do not just send me something an hour before the class. Okay, I won't be able to check, and then I won't be able to give you the feedback. At least do it till Friday, till Thursday, so I can check it and I'll have feedback for you. Nowadays I'll check. I've checked Salman's. I guess I've checked. Amit, or whoever is pending, I will check unless one of you have any questions and you wanted to discuss anything specific. Anyone? Yes, guys. Anyone has any question?
Today we will be covering about the swapping OS swapping disk, right?
नहीं नहीं, we are not. We are not. OS swap, don't worry guys. इतना बहुत ज्यादा ये है नहीं. एक added आपको सिखा दिया है वो. No one is going to ask you that. इतने सारे previous interview में आज तक कभी disk swap नहीं पूछा है. And if you want to do that, there's a PDF was sent in the group. Read it thoroughly, and you'll definitely get it. You are going to get it. If you read all the steps, you are definitely going to get it. But if you don't read and just skip, that is not going to help you. So make sure that you go ahead and read that and you will get it very clearly. Or if you want to do that, I can help you with that. But it is, see, looking at these machines and everything, यहाँ पर इतने सारे options है. I told you this at the beginning also. अगर हम सब पे ये करने लग जाएगा ना, तो forget 50 hours, 500 hours लगेंगे हम लोगों को ये सब करने में. So we will be focusing only on those tasks which are being asked in interview, which are helpful for you. डिस्क स्वैप वाला टास्क जो है कभी कभार आपको आने वाला है, बट यू शुड नो. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि पता ही नहीं है. एंड टू फॉर यू टू कंप्लीट दैट, we have prepared one SOP in detail, right? And it has been shared in group and people followed that and they were able to do it. Let me log off from this and I'll log into some other resource and I'll show you one error which people were facing. I'll show you that one also. Yeah, so when it comes to anyone wants me to check anything in their subscription? Okay, now look at this. I have so many subscriptions here. If I keep using different passwords for everything, it will be very difficult. Okay, this is the error people are asking. So guys, it is very easy for you. Now, auto shutdown, I was not able to add. This question was covered. Yeah, that's fine. Auto shutdown, we are not troubleshooting that. It was just a feature we wanted to learn. So you should know when an interviewer is asking that I want a machine, but I want it with the feature that if it uh, can it shut it down automatically, that time you have to answer auto shutdown. Why were you getting that error? There's some glitch. To resolve that, there are some PowerShell script. I can share them with you, but I will not suggest for you to spend your time there. No one is asking you for that. I mean, these many interviews we have been given. In fact, latest interviews also, I told you 3 interview happened last week, right? One from your current batch, 2 from previous batch. Nobody asked that, including your disk swipe. So don't worry about them. Let's focus on questions which are being asked. Okay, this one was sent to me by someone in the snapshot. Guys, it's easy just for you to capture a snapshot and send it, and it's easier for me just to reply on that. But where is the learning? I mean, if you read this 3 lines, you don't even have to ask someone. It simply says what action required. The security defaults are turned on to keep your organization secure. Set up a Microsoft Authenticator app to use 2-step verification. Now, looking at this batch, I highly doubt that someone who is there who doesn't know what is a 2-step verification. We are using banks, we are using everywhere the OTP comes, or maybe some Google Authenticator app or some sort of app is there that is that is your 2-way authentication. So it is simply asking whether you want to set up a 2-way authentication or not. And what does it say? You click on next and it will help you to set up a 2-way authentication, or you can do ask later. You have until 10 days to register. After 10 days it will be mandatory, so you simply have to click on ask later. But if you send these snapshots in group, you are not learning anything, guys. I'm telling you, it is very simple for you to just over the phone or take a snapshot and send it, and it is easier for me to answer that. जितना इजी आप लोगों के लिए एक स्नैपशॉट भेजना है ना, उससे ज्यादा इजी मेरे लिए कि मैं बस उसको आंसर कर दूं आस्क लेटर पे दबा के आप आगे चले जाओ. दैट इज इजियर. बट व्हाट आर यू लर्निंग देन? You're not learning anything out of it. So make sure you read the document, you read everything, you read the error message. Other day also there was some question raised or an error raised, and I replied to that your answer is itself in the error message. So do not do that. Do not have that approach in the class also, in your interview also. Probing and reading will help you in your interview also. If interviewer is giving you some task, do not just sit with that. Probe. If your interviewer says that, okay, I'm unable to RDP to my machine, don't just start thinking on that, or just don't just sit blank. Ask, what is the error message are you getting? When was the last time you were able to take RDP? Which is the machine you're trying to use?
Your voice
Is it
is
the Linux
breaking,
machine?
Sohail bhai.
Is it for everyone? Can you guys hear me? Others?
Yes,
Yes.
we can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, whoever was that, could you please try rejoining? Because if it is I'll do a speed test quickly. Okay, I have a good speed. It's almost 400 plus, and others are able to hear me. So I would request you to please rejoin and let me know. Okay, so I was saying that please read the error message and probe in your interview. Also, do not hesitate to probe. If your interviewer is saying that I am unable to take RDP to a machine, start probing. That when was the last time you were able to log in, which is the machine you're trying to log in, which is the tool you're using. Maybe someone is using SSH, where maybe someone is using PuTTY to RDP, which is not possible. Maybe someone is using RDP to SSH. Maybe someone is trying to take a remote on a Linux machine from here. So unless you probe, you won't get there, right? So the key thing here is to probe and is to read message. Okay, guys, we have spent enough time. Let's start working on next topics or the next options which we had there. Let me see if I have a machine here. Yeah, I have a machine here. Simultaneously, I'll check this machine also, and we'll work on this one. This is done by Fatima. Do we have Fatima? Looks good till here. Okay. I am not sure why are you guys facing some problem here. Is it not clear the disk part to everyone? Because I saw most of you guys made some error. Attaching this was done by many of you, but this disk size 500 300 plus GB, many of you missed. Is it just because while creating you did not get an option? Because we did that practical, right? When we were talking about virtual machines and when we are coming from this left panel, left plate, we completed overview, we completed activity log, IAM, tags, diagnose, and this is the place I have asked you to keep on visiting. I'm not sure how frequently are you doing, but keep doing this. This is going to help you in your interview. Networking, I said it's a huge topic. We'll do that later. Connect, we have completed. This is not for us. This is for system admins. And then we did on disk one. So I showed you guys how to create a disk, how to attach a disk, right? How to increase a disk. Can we decrease a disk or not? So if we did that, why is it difficult? Did you not understand? So before moving to the size topic, I can repeat it. Or is it just because you guys did not read the request? I need to understand that. If you did not understand, I am happy to repeat the disk topic. And but if we keep repeating, guys, understand we have a very vast this is very simple. As of now, what we are doing, it's just a tip of the iceberg. Now we have many heavy topics which are coming. So if you have not understood this, let me know, I'll repeat it. And if you just missed on reading something, that's fine, but I would request that do not have this approach in your interview also and on job also. Do not have this approach. Read the request thoroughly, because I remember it very well that we did this part and very clearly I showed you guys how to increase size. How can we decrease size, by the way, on data disk or OS disk? Can we decrease size?
No,
Okay, can I
no,
increase the size on an existing data disk without restarting my server?
Yes, we can do it.
Can I increase the size on OS disk without rebooting my server?
no.
No,
for
not on the
secure
OS disk.
Okay. So I hope the concepts are clear to you, right?
Yes, Sohail bhai.
Uh, okay, fine. So I hope the concepts are clear. If anyone who did not understand this, please let me know, guys. Do not hesitate. There is no I mean, पूछने में कुछ भी नहीं जाता यार. I'm not going to tell you कि यार ये हो गया फिर से कैसे पूछ रहे हो, right? If you don't understand this, आगे के बहुत सारे questions नहीं समझ में आएगी आपको. Okay, so please do ask. And if it is clear for everyone, I'll move ahead to the next topic. If it is not, बाद में भी कभी ping कर लेना. If I can manage time, मैं one-on-one भी ये कर दूंगा. But I want the similar efforts from you. Day one, when we were starting this batch, many of you simply asked, क्या इस course के पास job लगेगा या नहीं लगेगा? That is the ultimate thought or one-line agenda we have, and that's fine. Right? But the aim here is learning. If you learn, you're definitely going to get job. But आपका learning approach ये नहीं होगा, you are not learning it properly, you will not be able to speak in your interview. If you don't speak in your interview, you're not getting the job. That is for sure. Okay. So if you did not understand this, ask me, I'm going to explain. If you did not read this properly, okay, what did I ask? Or if you did not focus in your last lecture, go ahead and watch a recording. Still, if you don't understand, come back to me, ask your colleagues, ask your group. Here I have divided group, and if not this group, WhatsApp group, if not, ping me directly, I'll help you. But do not leave a topic ये सोच के कि यार ये छोटा topic है, या ये सोच के कि चलो इसको मैं बाद में कर लूंगा. Topics which you have to leave, I'm already telling you. Did I even touch this topic? Because I know no one is asking Windows Admin Center. No one is asking. One odd exception could be there. I'm telling you with my experience, 50 plus interviews we have seen, including my own. और यहाँ पर मेरे क्लास में आके जितने लोग interviews देते हैं, including them, no one has been asked a question on Windows Admin Center. OS disk swipe, no one has a single question. I'm telling you already, kisko skip karna, I'm telling you. But where I'm emphasizing that please do read, please guys make sure you put some efforts. Okay. Now let's move to the next one, size. One more thing, guys. When you're watching the videos, my YouTube videos, those are not actually for YouTube, right? So I have not done editing. उसमें कोई मैंने timeline वगैरह कुछ नहीं रखा है. That is just a place to keep my videos safe, right? I could do that on a Google Drive, but वो 15 GB भर जाता है, and then I don't have a place to keep them. So if you तो वहां पर what I'm trying to say here is वहां पर काफी organized way में नहीं है. So if you want to see something, you will have to watch the full video. Though it is helpful though, but let's say that you just want to see one click है, यहाँ पर क्या किया था याद नहीं आ रहा है. So if you face some problem over there, and if you face some question, feel free to ask the question on YouTube video itself in comment section. I won't mind about it. I'm not going to say KRA, you could have asked me separately, even if it is that, by the way, there is no silly question. Even if it is a small or basic question, I'm not going to say कि यार आपने comment क्यों कर दिया उस पे. What will happen if you comment with the timeline, it will be easier for me to go ahead and check okay, what are you talking about, what you did not understand well, and it will be easier for you to go ahead and see that again. So use the timeline. I'm sure all of you know how to use timeline feature on YouTube. Put the timeline and put your question there also. I monitor that very religiously. So don't worry, your not a single comment will go unanswered. If it is very small thing, I'll answer there and then only in comment section. If I think कि एक और session इसके लिए होना चाहिए या I have to explain it one-on-one, I'll do that. Right? So do not hesitate to ask questions, guys. WhatsApp, Zoom, in this one, group, YouTube, wherever you're comfortable, do ask questions. Okay, now let's move to the next one. We already spent 30 minutes. Only 6 minutes are left here. Okay, so I'll go ahead and start talking about size. Yeah, one more thing, guys, before I go ahead there. Okay, whenever I say stop your machine, stop has to be done from here. This is the only place from where you can stop the machine. If I'm asking you to shut down the machine, then you have to log in and then you can, this is the shutdown. This is shutdown. Okay, so don't get confused. That is the reason I'm making these jargons very clear for you, and it's not for me. Okay, these are interview jargons I'm talking about. If someone says I have stopped my machine, do not ask him, did you log into your OS and shut down machine? No. If the person is saying he has stopped the machine, it means it has stopped from here, which means public IP has gone. Okay, which means it has been deallocated, which means you're not being charged for your RAM, and you're not being charged for your processor. You're being charged for your disk. That is a different thing. And if someone says I have shut down my machine, it clearly means that person has logged into the machine and shut down from here, which means you're still being charged for your operating system, you're still being charged for your RAM, you're still being charged for your processor, and obviously for the disk. Okay, so do not get confused, do not ask it. If I say stop, it has to be done from portal. And portal का मतलब not necessary कि this portal only, portal as in power cell से भी हो सकता है. but a stop is stop. यहाँ से stop हो रहा है और यहाँ से stop हो रहा है. This is stop. But when I say shutdown, it means I have logged into that machine and I have shut down the machine. Is it clear, guys? To everyone?
Yes, sir.
Shutdown is from your operating system, be it Windows or Linux. And stop is from your Azure portal, be it Windows or Linux. Clear? What are the difference? Stop करते हो तो आपका public IP भी चला जाएगा, उसमें आप पैसे बचाओगे, आपका processor और RAM जो assigned होता है वो भी चला जाएगा. So you're saving money on these three places. Shutdown में कुछ नहीं जा रहा है. It is just your machine is shut down, that's all, nothing else. आपका प्रोसेसर भी वैसे ही होल्ड करके रखा है, आपका सीपीयू भी उसी तरह होल्ड कर रखा है, पब्लिक आईपी भी उसी तरह से है. सो यू आर नॉट सेविंग ऑन मनी एनीवेयर. डिस्क दोनों भी केस में, just because you stop your machine here, I don't want to shut down for the next practical. Just because shut down your machine, do you think your disks are going to get detached automatically? Now in this case we don't have any disk here. Let's say if you had any disk, so what do you think? अपने आप आपके disk यहाँ से disconnect हो जाएगी just because you have stopped your machine or shut down your machine?
No.
No, right? So be it shut down or stop, you are being charged for disk. Then what is the difference? It is easier for you to remember. I'm explaining this, so it becomes easier for you to remember. By the way, this is good job. You have changed the OS disk, data disk are there with correct one. The type of storage is correct. This nice one. I hope the networking part has been taken care of. Auto shutdown, I'm not checking for everyone because all of you are facing some problem. It's okay, I understand that. HTTP, it's fine. Size, it's okay even if it's different. Okay, so I was saying, just because if I shut down this machine, okay, I'm shutting down this machine. Does this mean that these disks are going to disconnect or detach automatically just because I've shut down the machine? No, right?
No.
And OS
No.
disk is obviously not going anywhere. So in this one, sorry, in stop deallocated, you're being charged for disk. For sure, you are being charged for these three disks. And even if you do shutdown, you're being charged for this. So disk का charges common है, किसी भी तरह का machine का usage बंद हो जाए. But if you do stop, your RAM and virtual CPU which you're using, which you're accessing from a physical machine, right? I hope you have remember that concept, right? ये virtual machine एक physical पे ही बनी है. I hope you guys remember virtualization वाला concept. That is the reason I
Yes.
explained it, right? So till the time आपने उसको block कर रखा है, you are being charged. But the moment you stop your machine from here, वो resource आपसे deallocate हो जाते हैं, and then you are not being charged for that. But disk के लिए you are definitely being charged. So this is the difference between stop and shutdown. But do not ever ask, is it stop from OS or is it shutdown from portal? No. If I'm saying shutdown, it is from OS. If I'm saying stop, it is from portal. I hope that is clear. Okay. Now
Yes, sir.
next topic which we are going to discuss, guys, that is disk, size. Do not get confused between disk size and size. But look at the icon and you won't get confused. This is the disk. Disk में जाके हम disk का size कम ज़्यादा करते हैं. यहाँ पर machine size we are talking about. So now what is the machine size? I will explain it to you. It is very simple. कोई बहुत बड़ा task नहीं है. It is very simple. इससे रिलेटेड एक दो चीजें डिस्क में भी कवर हो जाएगी. I mean which are disk की डिपेंडेंसी है वो भी कवर हो जाएगी. But we'll do that in next session. Only 1 minute is left, so I'm giving you this time if you have any questions. Yes, guys, do you have any questions? Anyone? Please do ask.
So always Satar here.
Yes,
When
sir.
we do the auto shutdown for the virtual machine, is there any option to auto start also?
Good question. I was just waiting for someone to ask that. Yes, there is one. It is not as simple as that. Auto shutdown जैसा बहुत एकदम easy नहीं है. But we'll do that later. वो है उसमें definitely है. I'll show it to you somewhere. या नीचे आएगा वो जिस sequence में आएगा I'll explain it to you. But there is one for sure. But click पे नहीं, उसके लिए एक script करनी पड़ती है. But there is an option and we'll do that. Okay, guys, if there are no more questions, I'll stop this. We'll take a break of 5 minutes to get the recording safe. Last time recording corrupt हो रही थी and then I figured it out. That is happening because we are not taking a break between that. So I need 5 minutes for recording to get converted and then we'll start. We'll start at 14:45, 5 minutes from now. I'll stop the session.